Wow, wow, wow. Good morning. Welcome to every single person joining me real time live this beautiful morning. And for those that will watch this after now, thank you also for your share of your time. It's a beautiful day to be alive, and I'm sure we're going to have fun today as we start off the month of December. And recall, we had talked about goals, goal setting, how to manage your goals. And then last week, it was all about emotional health. Don't overstress on those goals, but those goals will be achieved. And like we promised, today we are having in the house an HR thought leader. Is someone who loves to talk about this. The ones I spoke to him on this, we just went on and on and on. I could feel his passion to drive home salient truths that will make us the best self, even in the workplace. And today is an emerging HR thought leader with interest in people development, organization design, and institutional change. His focus is on helping organizations design and align a long term strategic aspiration with people centered initiatives required to drive performance, profitability, and growth efficiently, bearing in mind the realities of the new world of work. Now, that's one phrase I hear very often. Since pandemic, it's been a new world of work, and that new world is actually becoming a pressure point for most career people. But today, I believe we'll have tools that will make us near indispensable in the workplace. His professional work experience spans over a decade in consulting engagements and practice with different organizations from major sectors of the Nigerian economy, as well as Africa and Europe. I think I'm very excited today, and I'm beginning to stammer, so I'm going to have to calm myself down. Okay. He serves as an advisory board member for social development organizations like Shika Nigeria, Trail Learning, while supporting numerous others like the Faith Foundation, the Nextford University, the Acts Foundation, etc., etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know. Wow, today, network behave, all the cough disappear. Let's have a good time because we have Gbenga Totoyi in the house, is happily married and blessed with two lovely kids. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I receive on the Knox to Nuggets platform, Gbenga Totoyi. Hey, good to have you in the house.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
Please.
I can hear you, even though once in a while it does that shake, but I can hear you. And we're going to ride on this while we trust God Network will be very good today with us, you know.
It will be.
Wow, thank you so much, Benga, for coming on this. I recognize how tight your schedule can be, and I don't take it for granted. And so we have a time of the year when appraisals are on. We're looking into the coming year, some with some fear, some with some
Um,
jittery feel, and some with so much confidence and boldness. But the truth is this: we're entering into a year no one has been before, and the world of work is constantly changing and irreversibly too. Let me ask you this: what are the basic workplace essentials every career person must know as we look towards being our best self in our organizations this coming year? Over to you, Benga.
uh, Pleasure to be here.
Let's come back again. Yes, Benga is
Okay.
back. Yeah.
Thank you. I believe this will go on well now. I just thought to switch to my mobile and stay on this network. I think the home Wi-Fi is having a dance today.
So go ahead.
All right, thank you. So I'll go back a bit. I wanted to lay just a very short foundation, and then I will share the 3 tips that I consider to be critical for our success and continued relevance in the world of work. Just before I go on, am I a lot more stable now, Yemi?
Very stable. This is good.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. So the world of work has changed, and significantly so. And we would never, never, I personally believe we would never go back to the good old days, or we are going to go back to what used to be, as it were. And there are three things that sort of captures this, what the change has been, or which areas have significantly changed. And I'll share them. One is that the workplace as we know it has changed, and there are a number of things driving that. Um, Demographic of people in the workplace has changed. The way businesses are built and designed have changed. Um, in this 10, 15-year period, the startup phenomenon came to be. These are supposedly small businesses started in people's garages, started on small desks, and they've grown to be multi trillion dollar companies influencing the entire world, right? So the workplace used to be a place we go to work,
Yeah.
but not anymore. The workplace can meet you anywhere. If you have a laptop, you have a phone, you have a device, you can be at work, as it were. You can be on vacation and be at work. We even have stories of people who are traveling the world, moving from one country to another, and still working because the sort of organizations they work in or the type of jobs they do allows that to happen. The workplace has also changed because different industries or what we call verticals in the workplace have also changed significantly. I always like to use the financial services sector as an example, or the biggest of it, banking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure someone like your me can relate very well with a time you used to go to some banks and you had to queue, and
Very
transactions can be instant and things like that. All that has significantly changed.
true.
Sorry, a call keeps coming through. Because the workplace has changed, right? The second thing that has changed is the worker. The worker
Mm.
is significantly younger. We now have multiple generations in the workplace at the same time. If you look around, we now have of MD CEOs who are younger, people who are coming out of universities and starting businesses and things like that. So the worker is younger, the younger is more mobile and things like that. The worker is more demanding and more vocal about their
Mm.
expectations from work, right? And business owners and leaders and executives are dealing with these things on a daily basis across the world. For instance, we went into COVID, we came out, and different organizations around the world are dealing with the fact that a lot more people just felt, you know what, I'm more concerned about purpose, I'm more concerned
Yeah.
about the impact of my work on the earth. I used to work in the airline industry, but I now see the impact of what we do on the earth, and I'm not going to go back there again. I
Mm.
was personally in the UK sometimes in July, and yes, I spent 3 hours between coming off the plane and getting to the first immigration point. 3 hours, not in Nigeria, not in Kenya, not in Somalia. It was in the UK. And
Wow.
and it was a simple reason. They had 20 counters, and just about 7 or 8 of those counters were working. By the way, 3 or 4 of it was designated for
Designated.
special passports and premium customers. And so we spent 3 hours. The guy from America that was behind me told me of how he spent 4 hours in another state in America just the week before. What happened? A lot of people just felt, you know what, I can choose to be different, I can do something new. And you have that
True.
across different industries. The last thing that has changed is the concept of work itself. Work is
Mm.
now a lot more, the design of work and what we expect from work is a lot different. Long ago, we used to pride on the time spent at work. The value we bring to work used to be tied to the hours or the rigor or
True.
the years we spent at work. Our relevance in the workplace used to be tied to grades, seniority, hours spent at work, or how
Mm.
big our titles were, and things like
Mm.
that. Those things have significantly changed. All brought together, I think one thing driving all of that is technology, right? So if we understand that these things have changed, then
Mm.
the way we approach work, the way we bring ourselves to work, the way we work with others will significantly change. Do you get it?
Yeah. Very true.
Those three things, we need to take our time. Whatever industries you're in, banking, finance, NGOs, production, farming, all of those things, you just take a step back and look at it all, you see the massive changes that have occurred to the organizations you have in there, the way the colleagues you now have around you, and the way your work is being designed to happen, right?
Yeah.
It has just significantly changed. Now, having done that, we all as individuals, irrespective of where you work, big organizations, small, global, medium, and if you're Nigerian or African and you have traveled abroad or vice versa, because I believe this is also relevant for some of us, because for some people who are now, working abroad and things like that, they are dealing with some expectations that are different. So for instance, like I said, the worker has changed. So some of us
Yeah.
are going to start working in organizations where diversity and inclusion is important. People's beliefs or religions and outlook
True.
on life is different. And it's
True.
important that you don't bring your, in quote, African mentality to global firms where some of these things don't matter, right? And like you said when we started, I know this has a faith connection, and that's why I'm going there. You are going to work in organizations that would never have a prayer meeting. You are going to work
True.
in organizations that will not allow you call God. Or if you say
True.
God, their concept of God is different. You are going to
True.
work in organizations where your mention or reference to animals must be done with caution. You are going to work in organizations where you can't just open your mouth and speak against government or speak against people in office, or
True.
because those things matter. You are going to work in organizations where, in quote, hanging out after work is going to be critical. And if you are not going to hang out or take a call or things like that or dance at their parties, you also have to now be careful with how you say it. And permit me to share this last example, and I will share the 3 tips.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting towards the end of last week, and someone shared a story of, I'm driving this because it will just help some of us understand these things very well. And it referred to a country where I don't know have any other words to use. Prostitution is legal.
Wow.
So a Nigerian gets in there and was with another Nigerian, and they were, after work, going out, just going home, and a lady was approaching them. And, of course, she made a pass on this new guy that just came in. And he was going to start going, no, I'm not interested. Well, how can you approach me? And the other guy just said, just chill. I'll handle this. And just, okay, well, thank you for coming to us. Thank you. Receive your compliments. Thank you so much. But do you mind? We're on our way somewhere now. Perhaps you can meet some other time. And that was how they ended that conversation. They moved
Jesus is.
forward a bit. And then this guy had to be schooled to say, you know what? This is not Nigeria. This is not Africa. It is legal in this country. And if you don't talk to this person properly, there's going to be a conversation around discrimination. And you can be taken to court.
Wow.
I know that was big for some of us, but it's important that we hear such things. Now,
Sure.
against this background, I don't know if you have a thoughts on that. Some of these things I just shared.
It's interesting, and I'm just laughing here. The way things have changed. It's one of the things we'll be talking about in the new year is swimming with the sharks without getting eaten. It's one skill we have got to learn, and in the coming year we'll be doing that across almost all the months, because
Fantastic.
we are facing realities that before now nobody dares talk about. How do you talk about this? How can, you dare not. And it was fashionable then to enter a meeting and say, let us pray, even though you're in an office setting, and to say,
Yeah.
oh, we have our morning devotion. But things are changing. And like you rightly said, particularly now that you have to be careful so that you're not seen to be discriminating. And like you said, the 3 things that were our rock in the workplace have changed. The workplace itself has changed, the worker has changed, and the work itself has changed. So the things that took my parents to work were those 3 things. The things that gave the air,
Anchors, as it were.
right.
Yeah.
I walk in, and then my
I am a
office building,
lawyer. I am a doctor.
I'm an engineer.
I'm an engineer. You should respect me. It took me 8 years to study in university. Those things
Yeah.
have long gone, and we must accept that reality. Okay.
And like Gilbert says, even the LGBTQ issues are staring
Exactly.
us in the
It's staring
face.
us in the face. Yeah. So it's
So yes.
important that we accept these things, don't push them away ignorantly, accept these realities, right? And then we must still thrive in those environments, with or without those things. We must still thrive. So what are the three things? And for sake of time, like I shared with you, I'll just dwell on three things that I think encapsulate all the essentials. Number one, I know the word emotional intelligence has been overflogged. So I personally call it emotional regulation.
Mm.
Emotional regulation. Because sometimes when you just say emotional intelligence, people just shuts down, can't open their mind to hear, truths again. So I call it emotional regulation. For
Yeah.
instance, I would tie it to, I think a year or two ago in this part of the world, because I know there are people listening all around the world, that conversations around, horrible workplaces, toxic workplaces, horrible bosses it was trending.
Yeah.
For someone like me, I know some of those organizations that were mentioned. And
Mm.
I have people that work there who own those businesses. And
Mm.
I had backup conversations. Can I shock you,
Yeah.
as it is the slang in Nigeria? Most people who jumped on that conversation were the ones that were lazy in the workplace.
Okay.
They were the ones who didn't know how to manage their bosses. They were the ones
Mm.
who didn't know how to leave their personal issues at home. I personally tell people, right, it's a workplace, not a love lounge. You are at work to get stuff done.
Mm.
If your boss loves you, likes you, if your office comes with all the extras, they remember your birthday, celebrate your birthdays, it's great. For instance, it's a surprise from people. In a part of the world, some people surprise their better house or send people to the workplaces to play
Yeah.
saxophone and sing.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's a
Excuse me.
workplace. It's a workplace. Those
Mm-hmm.
things are not the standard across industries, across organizations.
True.
Um, Emotional regulation. The way I could have had a very bad night, but I must wake up, wear my white shirt, get to the office, pull myself together in my car, and go in like I had the best of nights,
Mm-hmm.
right? I must go in and not expect the world to crumble around me. I must go in and still deliver in spite of whatever challenges I have at home, I have with my finances, I have with my spouse, I have with any other person, is emotional regulation. At the
Mm.
core of emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and regulate our own emotions and get
Mm.
things done in spite of how we feel. To do the same for other people in spite of how they feel. So I regulate mine. I can work with others in spite of how they feel. And I can survive in an environment even though their emotions are all over the place. So I call it
Wow.
emotional regulation because we are demanded to switch from time to time. We are demanded
Mm.
to respect the emotions of other people. We are demanded to
Mm.
come into a meeting and within seconds, you can smell this person is not having a good day. And the first
Mm.
words out of your mouth can regulate the room. We must learn how to walk into our boss's office and know this boss is under pressure. And at that moment, I am not asking for something else, but I'm helping that boss to solve a problem.
Wow.
Emotional regulation is what helps us to know that my closing time is 5 o'clock. Every other person has carried their bags and gone. But the temperature in this office right now does not support me leaving the office at 5 o'clock. I know you
Mm.
want to have emotional, work-life balance and not work on weekends. I know these things have become the talk of the day, now. But emotional regulation or intelligence suggests that you wake up Saturday morning and ask your boss or your line manager, is there anything extra you want me to do? You know there's a
Mm.
meeting on Monday, but take your time Friday night before you leave the office. Sir, ma, I know you are preparing for a board meeting Monday. Are you ready? Is there anything else you'd like me to do? Emotional
Wow.
intelligence or regulation suggests that if that report is due on the 30th of every month, take the time to submit it on the 28th.
Mm.
All these things are examples. Yes, is the World Cup is going on, and typically you get to the office now, almost everyone wants to talk about the World Cup. It's emotional regulation for you to excuse yourself from those conversations. Yes, you are
Mm.
holding yourself back, but you are at work. So
Mm.
learn to regulate your emotions in and around bad times. You are excited. You are happy. Something just happened to you. But maybe they don't want you to tell everyone at work. Regulate your emotions. Regulate the way you deal with other people. From even though they are from other religions, they are from other beliefs in life. Regulate your emotions. I personally also tell people that nothing expands the mind like contact with people. But 5 years ago, I adjusted it and I called it nothing expands the mind like contact with differently minded people. Let's just
Wow.
spend more time dealing with people that are different from us. And if you check yourself, all your friends are like you. And that's why they are your friends. But you're not going to grow, you're not going to increase if you are not learning to work with people that are different from you. Your boss, your colleagues, or people you lead, they are going to be different, different thoughts, different ideas, different experiences. And you must learn to work with that and still thrive. Number two, build and deploy transferable skills that are relevant across job roles and industries. I'll take that again.
Yeah.
Build, if I mean you're junior, or even if you're senior, start looking at other things outside of your core competencies. Build and deploy transferable skills that are relevant across job roles and industries. I'll give myself as an example. My core is HR. But many years ago, I learned that HR is essentially about the business and subsequently the people. And so I stopped literally reading HR books and I started reading business books. I started taking time out to attend strategy lessons. I was learning project and program management. And for those that are hearing for the first time, project management is project management. You are doing one project, but increasingly we are doing program management, which is managing multiple projects concurrently, right? I
Wow.
started doing all that. I started learning finance for non-finance managers. I started looking at data, numbers. In fact, for about 5 years of my life, I was in technology, back end, front end. I was talking to VCs. I was working in the startup environment. I left HR completely, right? And today, where I work, even though I work at my core in HR, in the same organization, I'm involved in technology issues. In fact, I lead the technology committee to the board. And then I am involved also in what we do in brand and marketing comms. I literally turned myself to like a clearinghouse. What am
Wow.
I trying to do? Sometimes when my colleagues are writing a report or building a memo from the legal department, I will say, let me look at it, or they will ask me to review it. So I'm reviewing legal documents, I'm hearing legal jargons and things like that. What am I doing? I'm preparing myself to be a general manager, to be a CEO, to run the business. And what that means is I'm not going to come and say, oh, my core is HR, or else I'll be denied the opportunity to lead the business or be the most important person in the organization, leading the entire organization. Because at that level, it goes beyond just what I know technically or my core, which is managing people or managing the HR function. I now need to know other things across the business. And that's what I'm trying to say. So if you take me away today from where I work, I can name 2-3 things. Why is that important? Remember, the world of work, the worker and the workplace has changed. So if my
True.
organization demands me to change or come into a new role outside of my plans, I have to be ready.
True.
And that's why I have to build transferable skills that are relevant across job roles, grades, and industries. If you take me today, I'm currently in insurance. In fact, I typically tell people when they're building or when I'm coaching people through, career growth plans and things like that. Over a 5-10 year period, if you want to enter into executive management or lead a business, you have to be intentional. For instance, for build cross industry experience. So I'm an accountant, but I've been in the FSI, I've been in FMCG, I've been in the creative space. Over a 5-10 year period, you are different from someone that has just done accounting or finance in FSI. You are different because you've got cross-industry relevance. You get it? You've got cross-industry relevance, and that is increasingly important.
True.
Build and deploy transferable skills that are relevant across job roles and industries because even your organization will change. One of my favorite quotes over the years, I was speaking at a conference at Mozon Center, and I've said this again and again, but perhaps it's a different audience. And I said to the crowd, what happens to your banking career if the bank where you work becomes an app?
Very true.
And everywhere just went quiet. I was like, I'm serious. I'm not saying it's not anything. In fact, right in the hall, some of my former colleagues at a particular bank were in the hall. In fact, I had one of the executive directors in the hall, and I was like, I meant it. I said, and that same bank had built a digital bank, and it was meant to compete with the traditional bank. 4 years on after it came into life, deposit mobilization and things like that were much more than the traditional bank. And so, again, if the bank where you work, you're a banker, you're working, whatever it is you work in that organization, what happens to your career as a banker if the bank now becomes an app? You see how you need to adapt, how you need to understand technology, how you need to see
Very
what you're doing relevant in the new space. And the third, because of our time, is
yeah.
agility.
Agility.
Agility. And that's the ability to adapt and respond to change requests quickly. Emphasis on quickly. Change is not what is important anymore. It is the pace of change that is important. The pace at which things are changing. And some people just can't deal with it. Some people just shut down because the pace is just too much, or they just can't deal. And they would think that it's the organization that is at fault. No, it's you. You have to be the one adapting and adapting very quickly. You have to be. So agility is not just change. It's not just the ability to change or do things quickly. No, it's the ability to adapt to change requests, but emphasis on quickly. So when that opportunity comes to say, oh, you work in finance and you work on the mainland, the office now requires you to go to the mainland, to the island, or work in another state, or work in another country, and you've got 2 days. I would never forget. I was in an organization once, and the board, the executive management had a meeting, or the board, literally. And my CEO called me and said, Gbenga, this is the outcome of the meeting. In fact, what had happened was I came in to make a presentation, and I didn't know I was speaking to some things they had discussed before I came into the meeting. And I was presenting for like 2-3 different departments because the other person was not around. And I was answering the questions on their mind. I didn't know. My boss came out to the meeting 2 days later and said, well, Gbenga, this is what we discussed. I'd like you to consider you going to this other directorate. Oh, by the way, you've got 2 days to make up your mind. I left that meeting saying yes. I left the meeting saying, yes, I'm ready, but this is just what I want. And then I went back later to now figure out how I'm going to adapt.
How?
That's going to happen. There are opportunities coming in your space to work with different people, work in different organizations that would shatter your career plans. And you have to be ready to manage that level of change and respond quickly. This will be the 3 things I want to leave with us today because of time. Emotional regulation, build and deploy transferable skills that are relevant across job roles and industries, and then be agile, which is respond to change, but do it quickly. The world is not waiting for you.
You have said so much in that very short time.
My
And your
pleasure.
3 things are like 20 things, and you want to break them down. And you've broken plenty tables now. Gbenga, honestly, there are no more tables. You are just breaking the tables and just throwing them apart.
It's a pleasure.
Because the things that people have held on to as their area and their core strength are the things that you have thrown out of the window very
That's the
unapologetically.
world. That's the world we live in now. That's the world we live in now. And I'm sharing my personal example. I've been in HR all my life. I've done a few other things, but essentially I work with people and I work with businesses. That's the way I look at it. I work with businesses, I work with people. So what else are critical to the business? So you can take me as I am right now, and I can go and lead a strategy and corporate planning unit. I can work in strategy design and education. Why? The business is about strategy and planning for the future, and I can go and work there. I've worked and executed many projects all my life. I've worked on many concurrently. So you can take me now, and I can work in the project management office, managing multiple projects. You can take me now and say, come and be head of brand and marketing comms. Why? I can understand the corporate values, how the organization wants to be positioned, and I can be the chief brand officer of any organization. I can market my organization. So
Gbenga,
that's how relevant these things are.
I'm listening to you and I'm agreeing with you. But the question that immediately comes to mind is suddenly it's like we must then become jack of all trades and master it all.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you this question. Is there any age that you get to that you say, now at this age, I can't do this anymore? It's too late to
Fantastic
learn,
question.
it's too late to
Fantastic.
adjust.
Well, if you're at that point, either you are 20 or you are 60 or 70, then get out of the workplace. Just get out. Just get out. It's not for you, or you'll be embarrassed. Because there are organizations locally and abroad that are asking people that have gone into retirement to come back to the workplace as consultants.
Mm.
Okay, I'll give a popular example, and most people may forget this thing. During COVID, there was a particular incident that was global. A particular ship got stuck on some part of the ocean. I don't know if some people here can remember. And it was blocking a particular channel such that many other vessels taking different things around the world needed to pass through that channel. If you remember very well, if I have the image in my head, the organization they went to engage to solve that problem were managed by sailors that have stopped, captaining ships,
True.
and they now have their own businesses. These were gray-haired men.
Yeah.
One, they are no longer working, and they've transferred their skills or their work experience into a business. So they now offer advice and thoughts. And they were so damn good. They were not on the sea, they were in their houses.
Yeah.
Meaning they combined the ability to manage ships and sail with technology. They were in their houses, probably in their pajamas,
True.
and they got that ship on out of where it was stuck on the sea. So you can see how people adapted. They were very good while they were working. They transferred their skill into businesses that was thriving, but
Yeah.
they learned much more than how to sail the ship. They adapted technology to what they were doing, and the entire world. And let me speak to the Christian side of you. So when scripture says you will lend to nations, it's not
Mm.
money, it's advice, it's competence. Countries would need your expertise. Countries will be in trouble, and you'll be called to come lend your advice. And you can be in your house. I can be here and I'm speaking to the entire Senate of Kenya.
True.
That is how good we must be on our jobs. And so even if you are not well paid, your current job today is a training school. You should be the one thanking your employer. It's a training school. And be so good that if you leave today, if you are asked to leave your organization today, tomorrow you can start a business, number one. Number two, with what you know. Number two, you can take what you know and your experience and it's transferable to another organization. Or the organization is telling you, sorry, we can't pay you again. Do you mind staying on as a consultant? I said, okay, no problem. Because we have entered a season where, for instance, you are not, and I've seen that situation before. For instance, say I am group head of HR for my company, and then another company in another industry wants to have me. And I'm saying, okay, I'm sorry, I can't leave where I am right now. Or my boss says, we are not ready to let you go. And since they are both in different industries, I can talk to the other organization and say, okay, I'll give you 2 days a week. My current organization, I'll give you 2 days a week. There's no conflict of interest. I'm not going to share any trade secrets. And I'll take 1 day off where I rest at home and spend time with my family. You both agree? They say yes. And we can sign a contract and we are fine. This is happening already in finance, in HR, in technology. That is how adaptive the world of work is.
Mm. Wow. That is how adaptive the world of work is. Gbenga, what you have answered the question of how to be indispensable as
Be
a
so
corporate
damn good.
person.
I believe some of us are indispensable at work. Be so damn good that
Mm.
you are anticipating what is needed of you in the workplace. You are ahead of. It's one thing to have a job description, but my personal challenge, there's no job I have done And I say this humbly, there's no job I have done, there's nowhere I have worked where I have not expanded my role. I always
Hmm.
leave my role much more than I met it. In fact, the challenge you should give yourself is that when you leave your current job, you have done so much that they'll probably need two people to take over what you used to do.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how it should be.
Hmm. You know, saying that, let's chip in a bit of Bible there. Paul says, I magnify my office. So I just blow it out. I become bigger than anybody expected me to be. The
That's
challenge
that.
a lot of us have, and you spoke to it earlier, is the fact that we tend to be lazy in the workplace. We want to eat our cake and have it and still want to be indispensable, and it really does not work. You have to go the extra mile. You have to. The extra is what you must do, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, Gilbert says ER plus TS plus A. Now, this is an engineer talking. I can see equations flying. We are talking English.
Emotional regulation, transferable skills plus agility. The new workplace. I love that. I should patent this. Thank you, Gilbert.
This is an engineer talking. Just put everything in an equation and deliver it back to us. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Gbenga. It's so much to talk about in the workplace. I
yeah.
will want to let you go. Wow, time is far gone. But before you go, you said something earlier when I talked about the age thing. Whether you are 20 or you are 60. So it's not about age in terms of number. It's about age in terms of perspective, in terms of your outlook, in terms of your readiness to do more. Let me ask you this as an HR person. Today, once you get to a certain age, it appears you are unemployable. Now you are laughing already.
It's a lie we've told ourselves. And we live in a world where once something is being spoken often, it becomes a belief. It becomes once something is in the air, it becomes a belief. Let me break another table. Too many people are saying they have imposter syndrome. They don't even know what it is, and they don't have it. The reason why they say they have it is because everybody is saying it is available. People have it. Let me go back to this age thing. Can we just focus on being very good at what we do? Can we just focus on ability to solve problems with what we do and leave age and leave even younger people will come and say, uh, all the jobs out there, all the entry level jobs are asking me to have 5 years experience. And if I'm not 22, 23, they will not hire me. Don't they know what is happening to ASU? And I'm like, well, that's a lie because I am in an environment and I have data. I don't need to talk to any other person. I have data that shows that even if you were 27, 28, we will hire you. In fact, in the last 1 year, one of the many things that has happened to entry level roles is that we started adjusting the requirements. We raised the age bar. We asked for more than 2 months and all of those sort of things. But people have long held on to believe that if they don't have experience, people won't take them. But you know what? Let's even agree that we are not taking you at entry level because of your age and because of your grade. Take the next 6 months or 1 year to go and learn one skill as simple as using Excel
Hmm.
and be so damn good at it. As in, be undeniably good at it. And then go on LinkedIn and tell people or do a live session or go to an organization and seek a meeting with the head of HR and come with your laptop or say, just give me 10 minutes. And once they give you 10 minutes, you come into that meeting and say, sir, give me your laptop. Tell me any problem you have now on Excel, and in 10 minutes, I will solve it. You can't do that. And the person will not be thinking of where to put you. You can't.
Hmm. 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 Wow. Gbenga, now you are broken more tables. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have to be hiring tables and looking for tables now to buy because all the tables in the house are already broken. And
We focus on relevances. That's what I think.
Gilbert says, please, we need Gbenga early in the new year to guide us on achieving maximum results in the workplace. And then the please went in capital letters. He has heard you. So we'll work on that. He has heard you. it's been rightly said that the reward for good work is more work.
One word.
So since I've broken so many tables, you need to come and teach us how to build back the tables. Because now we have no tables to write on. We're having to hold our paper and our biro in our hands. So now we need
Perhaps,
to build the tables.
perhaps if you arrange a physical session, we can work something out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Gbenga. I truly appreciate your coming. Before I let you go, you said so many last words, but last word as we round off the year. Let me take your last words.
The 2023 is going to be a very, very interesting year. Many organizations are facing, particularly in Nigeria, we are on one hand trying to adjust to rising cost of running the business, increasing regulation in different industries. Then the technology is staring us in the face. Competition is at its highest level. My advice to anyone here is find the time to look for one or two things that are core to how your business makes money and build your competence around that. Tie the relevance of your role to how your company makes money or how they lose money. I'll take that again. The average organization is dealing with rising COPEX as cost of operating expenses, dealing with technology change, dealing with competition in the industry, dealing with regulatory somersaults and things like that. And we are entering an election year, but at least in Nigeria. So a lot of things are not certain. I mean, VUCA is now VUCA'd. VUCA is, the word is volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. But D was added a few years ago. That's disruption. It's increasingly disrupted, right? Or it's increasingly digital, or it's increasingly diverse. What I would advise you to do is find one or two things that are at the core of how your business makes money, or core to what will save your business money, and then tie your job to those two things. For instance, I work in HR. The way I recruit must save my company money. The people I recruit must help my organization bring in people that will change the kind of money we make and things like that. And I must look at what I do in HR and save my company money from what I do in HR. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that way, I am indispensable because I can tie what I am doing directly to the core of the business. And that way, my most important person in the organization will look at me like this. Even if people are gossiping about me and saying they hate me, they don't like me, the guy will keep thinking, this guy saves me money. This guy makes me money. With these few points of mine, I had to go take my kids to school.
Thank you so much, Gbenga.
And I had to drag my butt.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
my
you.
Pleasure. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Yes. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. Wow. Gbenga was just busy breaking tables, shaking tables, and I really appreciate his sacrifice. The children have to go to school late today because they have to stay back to do this. I don't take it for granted at all. Thank you, every single person that has joined us today. Many tables are broken. We will bring him back one of these days to build back the table. But guess what? December is that fun month. And so coming up next, so we've been very serious this year. We've talked about goals, goal setting, manage your goals, workplace essential, emotional intelligence, dealing plenty things, how to be a parent, how to be a child, everything we have talked about it. Now we want to unwind. So next week, Monday, we'll be talking about what are the fun things to do this Christmas. So even if you can't travel, you are not able to travel, you are not able to do those things you used to do before, maybe because of the availability of resources, it's okay. Don't beat yourself blue, black, or yellow. You can still enjoy Christmas. So this coming Monday and the other one, for the next 2 Mondays, look at fun things to do this Christmas. Coming up next Monday will be Sheyi, and after Sheyi, the other Monday will be the social prefect herself. You don't want to miss any of these ones because yes, we work, but when you are finished working, what do? Let's have some fun this Christmas. Don't carry that stress on top of your children. Because don't even do that. I had to go that deep to talk to us. Let's have some fun. Yes, and in fun, we're going to learn how to have fun this Christmas. I'm looking forward to the next two editions. Sheyi is coming on, and Social Prefect 2 is coming on. I'm talking about how to have fun this Christmas. It's been so much to deal with in this year. There's so many challenges, but then we're going to just come back and enjoy ourselves. Thank you, everybody that has stayed true with me this edition. I'm sure you've added some value to yourselves listening to Gbenga Totoyi. And then please, like I will always say, like this video, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done that, run off to YouTube now and hit that subscribe button. Let somebody out there know that there's something called Not to Nugget that's adding value to people's lives. And until I come your way next week, Monday, when we start having all the fun of Christmas, never forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, and you can have it. And as always, together we win. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye for now.